telling you, so before we bring in the man of the hour,
Yes.
there's a very young, bold, confident 18-year-old
Gen
we
Z, we
listen
need.
to as he comes up on stage.
Yeah.
Man, this guy gives me hope. Please put your hands together as we bring up on stage none other than Nate Mwangi.
Karibu sana, karibu sana.
Hi guys. Good afternoon, terrorists. It took me 3 days to come up with that joke. Thank you for laughing so much. So, excuses are merely nails used to build a house of failure. Today is Katiba Day. 15 years ago, Kenyans overwhelmingly chose their constitution, capturing their hopes and dreams for themselves and future generations to come. Today, I stand before you as one among that young generation they had in mind. A generation of strong young men and women who look at this country every day and wonder what it has become. Ours is a country bleeding with so much potential, potential beyond what you and I can comprehend. Therefore, as part of that generation, I stand before you and say, we are tired, we are angry, we are disappointed when we look at this country and see bloodshed instead of beauty. Knowing Kenya is better than this, better than seeing the lives of peaceful protesters taken by the same officers who swore to protect them. We are victims of corruption, of greed, and of evil that stalks our journey as an independent and free people. But my fellow Kenyans, do not be disheartened. Change is coming. My name is Nate Simpiwe. You know me as the son of Boniface Mwangi, the people's watchman. But to my close friends, I'm just Nate. My father used to leave our home very early in the morning, long before I'd woken up, and got home long after I had gone to bed. At first, I assumed he didn't love me as much as he claimed to. But as I grew older, I grew to understand. Understand the reality of his actions wasn't a lack of love, but of too much love. Love that extended well beyond the confines of our household, but to the borders of this country. You see, he loves my siblings and I so much, he wanted us to grow up in a country we could be proud of. A country we could claim heritage with confidence. A country where you can believe in the beauty of your dreams, and where you can thrive off your education, hard work, and talent. For my father, if there's a child hungry in Homa Bay, it bothers him, and it must bother you and I. We are all Kenyan, my friends. We all hurt together, love together, and triumph together. Yet the reality is that since 2010, the promise of our constitution continues to be delayed. Our rights often feel like suggestions, and the constitution is treated like an option, not the law. Last year, I saw Kenyans shot in the streets for exercising their right to protest. Can you imagine? The young people are working hard in school only to be launched into a country that wants to send them abroad to work as servants. It is not yet Uhuru. It is not yet. I was only 3 years old when the Constitution was passed. Yet I know that we cannot give up on the promise of our Katiba. In 2027, I will get the first chance to register as a voter and exercise my right to vote. My generation has shown they're ready to give our strength, our commitment, and even our lives to achieve the dream of a prosperous Kenya. Now allow me to direct you to the screens for a short video.
This is Boniface Mwangi. He's hardworking, fearless, driven by his values, and never afraid to speak truth to power. He can be difficult, stubborn, even a pain in the ass sometimes. But to us, he's also just dad. He was born in Taita Taveta, a county where most of the land was stolen, and the locals were left as squatters while politicians mined and exploited what should have been the people's. His mother had 7 children, but poverty meant they could never all live together under one roof. He and his siblings were scattered between relatives.
When they moved to Nairobi in search for a better life, they hawked on the streets to survive. When they couldn't pay rent, they were thrown out, forced to sleep outside, often hungry. By 11, he ran away and lived on the streets. He sold services for food and handouts and briefly worked as a houseboy in Mombasa. Soon after, he was arrested and taken to court, not for a crime, but for being homeless. He was sent into the juvenile system and bounced between institutions meant to reform and protect poor children. Instead, he found corruption, abuse, and exploitation. Teachers forced boys to work on farms. Older ones sold drugs and bullied the younger ones. Against all odds, without books or even a library, he excelled, rising to the top of his class.
But success didn't shield him. When he spoke out against the abuse, exposing it to a government minister, the system punished him the only way it knew how, by expelling him. The story even made it to the newspapers. From the very start, standing up for what's right came at a cost. But he's never let that stop him.
In 2007, after the disputed election, our country was torn apart by violence. Over 500,000 Kenyans were displaced, and over 1,000 lost their lives. Our dad was there with his camera, documenting the brutality and standing shoulder to shoulder with the ordinary Kenyans demanding justice.
Through his photographs, the world saw what politicians wanted to hide. His courage earned international recognition, but more importantly, it gave Kenyans a voice.
Our dad fought tribalism and negative ethnicity. He didn't give us names from our Gikuyu community because in his ideal Kenya, your last name shouldn't define you. We have Zulu, Swahili, Arabic, and Luo names. Now, nearly 20 years later, our generation is fighting the same battles. Young people are being shot, dragged out of their homes, and punished for daring to demand justice. The system hasn't changed, but we can.
We can break the cycle of corruption, break the power of elite and wealthy, and finally elect one of us, someone who carries the pain and hope of ordinary people to the State House.
I hope you'll consider joining my father in our family as it grows, because Kenya belongs to all of us, and it's time we, the people, took it back.
And so today, I want you to join me as you listen to the People's Watchman, my friend and my father, Mr. Boniface Mwangi. Today is a moment for unity, togetherness, and progress. My dad has given his life for the dream of a united and prosperous Kenya. It gives me great pleasure and joy to invite you to stand with me as we approach him to the stage.